In this section I'm going to cover the charting, how to set up charting in MT4. Now when you very first open it doesn't look like this at all, but you'll probably have four charts open side by side, so it'll be just half of what I'm showing here when you very first open your charting package. Now some people get a bit, oh, what do I do with these? They're very, very simple. Now there's lots of ways to set up your charts. Firstly, there's lots of buttons that you'll get used to at the top here, and I'm going to run through these buttons. There's the charts that include the buttons that help you do the lines, so the drawing tools that are available to you. There's the time frames available to you, and then over here you've got the type of chart. So what I'm going to do is as opposed to look at all the charts at one go, you can either double click on the blue piece up here. In fact, what I'm going to do is change one of these horrible ones, or more horrible ones, and just open that chart. So sorry, I'll just do that again, just in case you missed that. You can double click on the blue border part, or you can just open it up in the usual way with Windows. So when you very first look at your first chart, one thing I'll tell you now is you can, once you've set one chart up, you can save it as a template. So you may want more than one chart template. Well, that's fine. You can set up as many templates as you wish, and you can save those templates forever, and you can save them onto your PC or MacBook, I'm sure, but certainly on your PC for future use, and you can just drop them into the next version of MT4 that you open if you open another MT4 from a different broker. It may be you have two brokers. Some of our traders use one broker for day trading because their spreads are very tight, but their overnight costs are not so competitive. And then they'll have another broker because they like spreading things around a little bit, and they'll have their swing trades in there, and it keeps their mind clear. They either looking at swing trades and they leave those alone, or they've got their day trading tool, and it's not, things aren't getting messed together. So it may be that you want to do that, in which case you can use the templates from one and put them on the other. It may be that you quite like the broker's own platform. That's fine, but all I really want to show you here is the MT4 platform and setting up charts. So different methods that you see at the moment, it's got a bar chart on here at the moment. You can change it if you prefer just to open, high, low, close bar chart, or if you just really want to look at what the price is doing without any noise or anything, you can just look at the line. But you'll learn a lot more from the candles themselves in terms of what's actually happening. But as I said, it's really up to you. First things first then, where do I find all the tools? Well, as I said, there's the whole bunch of tools across the top here. We can change periods here, we can change the periods here. So this particular chart is on an M1, which is minute 1, minute 5, minute 15, minute 30, hourly 1, hourly 4, daily 1, weekly 1, and that's the time frames that you've got available to you on MT4. There are other ways of changing the time, which is a subject of another video at some later stage, but these are the common timeframes that are available to you on a standard MT4 platform. So you've got the times across there, and as I said, there's other things. Everything's got an additional area to find tools to do the same job. I can right click on here and find all exactly the same thing. So I can go into the timeframes from here. So right clicking. And finding it here, I can get the time frames from here, or can just use the time frames that are already out on a stick up here. So that's the time frames. That's where you'll find those. Firstly, though, I want to change the look of this chart. It's not looking good to me, so I'm going to change it. I'm just going to go to the properties. Now again, you can go to charts, you can get your properties from there, you can press the F8 button, you can do all sorts of ways of getting exactly the same thing. As right click, properties, so it'll give you the properties. Then you can start changing that, and you can actually see the color scheme as you run through here. So volumes, you might if you want them on the chart, you might want them in I don't know, red. It depends on what color background you're going to choose. The color scheme at the moment, there's different color schemes: yellow, green, black on white, green on black. This is quite popular, and it saves you a lot of time messing around in the first place if you click on this, or yellow and black. So you can go yellow and black there if you wish, or black and white, go the other way around, and or then you can say, well, actually, I want to add a bit of colour into it or something. As I say, a lot of the MT4 counts I've had in the past follow this method, but I also quite like a softer colour sometimes to look at, but the black's pretty good. So let's just take that, but you can change all the elements of this. As I said, the ask line is the line coming across here. I can change the colour of that into different colours. It's set up on red at the moment. The bid, actually, that's the bid line that you can see at the top up here. The ask is a separate line. You can change the line on the lines on the graphs, different line colours. At the moment it's set on lime. You can change that to whatever you wish, but I'll leave that as it is for now. That's a standard colour, a ball candle. The actual body of it is black on here. If I wanted to actually make that green, I can just change the colour and pop that into green. And a bear candle, if I wanted to, some white at the moment, I could make it red. So you can change the colours. And again, bar down, I can have this as red, he says. So you can put the bars down as red and the green bars, we'll leave that as lime. Okay, and there's so many different funny colour greens here and colours. Anyway, so you can get the idea here. Any common factors here, you can decide not to show the grid. This would disappear when I click OK. There we go. So we've got a lovely clean back. If you say, well, actually I want that grid, you can just go back here and whoops, I've just put the volume on there now. Let's take those. You can see, put your volumes on the chart if you want, just by a click of a button. You can put the volumes there. If you want to get rid of or bring the grid back, I can do. Personally, I think it's horrible, but other people love it. I just think a nice clean chart. So we got to that stage. We've got something that looks a little bit easier on the eye, maybe to some. At the moment, you're thinking, well, it's a bit thick. Okay, so we can zoom out a little bit and see a little bit more chart. And you can use these buttons up the top here, the plus and minus buttons, so you can really, if you really want to, max it out and see as much as you want on that time frame just by pressing the zoom buttons. It's quite handy, the zoom buttons, at times if you're trying to look at the previous high or low without changing time. Now we're on a 5-minute chart here. Let's go for an hourly for a moment. There you go, so I've just updated. It does put these daily lines in to show you the changes in the day. I believe you can get rid of those. I'm not really too interested in doing so. I tend to leave them 30 minutes. It's basically gone away anyway. But other factors that you can do on this chart, well, obviously the drawing tools are all up here. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. You want to use the grid. The grid's handy for looking at prior price levels, so you can see the prior highs and lows. It snaps to it. If you actually hold the mouse over a area of price, often a little box comes up, apart from when I'm obviously recording, which it doesn't want to do at the moment. Lots of sort of different tools here that you may or may not use. I'll leave that up to you. I'm not going to go through tools, but I just did a bit of drawing there. If I want to get rid of that drawing, I can look at the object list up here, and I've just put a channel on there, so I can get rid of that channel, delete the channel, close, it's gone. Or you could just, if you put a channel on that you don't want, let's see if I can get it. I should put the channel on the bottom going downwards anyway. Other ways of getting rid of that channel is just literally right click on it. Oh, it says right click on it. Click on it, then right click on it. There you go, highlighted it. There we go, channel properties, delete. There we go. So that's how to get rid of things on there, very simple. Okay, so we got this far into things. As I said, they're the tools up the right hand side. You can draw text labels. There's a whole drop down menu of arrows, etc. that you might want to put in, there however you want to use it. I don't use it as a key source of trading, but I'm using other paid for charts, but these charts can be good. There's lots of add-ons, so many traders who use them over the years. There's a lot you can do with them, so you don't necessarily need to go out and buy charts or pay charts. just a case of setting these up as you wish. Okay, so what I've done is set, as I say, set the background up there. Now I may want to add some things onto this chart, so I can do so by clicking up here. There's a whole list of different types of things I may want to put in. Moving average, for example. Let's just put that moving average on as it's already set up there. Oh, I want to adjust that, so you just go back, double click on it, and it brings up the little box. Handy tools here in terms of if I wanted to change visualization. At the moment I've got this across all time frames, which is a moving average, so it makes sense. I'll come back to another one in a minute where you might not want it all across like a trend line. Change the colors on here. You can change the period. This is set up as 14. That's I like an 8 or 10 actually. That's 8 rather. Oh, that's 18. There we go. So I like my red as 8. There we go. So I can pop that in there, and then I can add another one if I wish. So the moving averages stay at the top here, so there we go. You can add another one. It defaults to the previous one, so now 21. I can change the color. Let's put a blue here, and suddenly you're starting building up a bit of a chart. Now I'll leave it up to you how you want you set your charts up. You can add other indicators. I've just put 2 that actually go on the chart itself. You can look in and decide to, well, actually I want to put a relative strength index, RSI. So click on the bottom there. You can set your whole RSI up. This is the standard, nice lime green then. You can there's quite a lot of settings applied to the close. Fine. The period of it is the standard period. I personally adjust mine. And then we look at the lines. You can have straight lines or whatever, thick lines. If you want to make it a little bit thicker so you can see it a little bit clearer, you can do so. Levels here, 70 or 30, and that's the 2 for RSI. That's the 2 levels. I always change these to 20 and 80, so you can adjust your settings as you wish. Whoops, not. So set those. I'm going to change that to a white. Yep, white. Okay. Click OK, and there's my RSI across the bottom there. So that's how you can apply indicators to the chart as well. You've got this list of indicators down the left hand side here. You can add different things and change things a little bit if you wish. In fact, I've got an indicator. Let's put my pivots on as there. You can just drag it across and drop it on, and it will come up and ask you check your colors and etc. I'm going to just change that actual main color because black on black ain't going to work. So I'm just going to switch that to a white, leave the rest alone for a moment. You can change the style of it, the imports. Visualization. Now this is, I'll come back to visualization here. I'm just going to put a daily pivot on, so I don't want to have it on all time frames. I only want it, well, I'll leave it on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 1 hour. I'll leave it on the 4 hours. No, I'm going to take it off the 4 hours. It's too much. So I'm going to pop in that, click OK. And now this is a 30-minute chart. If I go to a weekly chart, I haven't got it there, so it's not in the way. It's not, because it will all be squeezed up badly. It's not on my daily chart, not on my 4-hourly chart, but it's there. It is. It appears on the 1 hour and below. So that's how you can use it, and so you only see it in the time frames that it makes sense to see things. The other area where you might come across that is like a trend line. So on a trend line on this 1 hourly chart, if I pop that across, is a nice simple trend line that just pops across there from 2 points when it's actually breaking through that. But now looking at it on this time frame, well, yep, it looks good. It looks good below that time frame. You can see that. Now if I start taking it up, it's okay on the 4 hourly. As soon as I start getting into the realms of anything above a daily, if I look at a weekly, well, actually I think I've already turned it off. And no, it's not. There it is. It's that line going down there. So I can adjust that trend line. Just double click on it if you can just get your cursor, or he says. Perhaps I'll do it when I come out here a little bit, just so I can maybe just catching on the price bar itself. There we go. Okay, trendline properties. Okay, visualization. Again, I'll only show it on for example 4 hourlies and below, so we can just decide on where I want to see that trend line showing. So it's on a daily, so it's not going to be showing. It's going to be showing on my 30 minutes for hourly time frame, so I can see it across these other time frames. So there you go, some very simple, and because you're generally going to be setting this up to you've got one chart for each currency. Normally you can open up lots of different charts for different currencies, for the same currency. I've got here I've got the pound 1 hour, and then I've got the pound 1 minute with different settings, so you can for sure have as many as you like, and you can just have them listed all along the bottom there. But it starts getting a bit of a mess. It's often easier just to have it what were we doing? Lost me. There we go. Just where you want it. Now you probably just noticed I went through, and there's a few different pictures there where you can set up different templates to use. So you might be looking at your swing trading, and you may use a particular indicator you use only for swing trading. You don't use that for your day trading. Well, you can set up templates. You may want different charts to do that on, so you have two charts, two whole groups of charts that you want it on. But once I've done this and saved all of this as I want it, and well, I say saved it, once I've got it as I want it, I can use this as a template and just go into templates here, save template, and I can just call it something. So template 2, type in template 2, and Bob's your uncle, it's saved. And now if I go to a chart that's got this horrible thing in, I can go into here, go into templates, load templates, or look down the list, there it is, template 2, just click on that, boom, it's done for me straight away. So it's automatically done as I want it. Now this is showing as a monthly chart. I was just thinking, where's the pivots? Oh sorry, a minute chart, so beg your pardon. There you go, so it's on a hourly chart now. It's got the pivots on it and everything else that I want. So it's exactly the same there across the different charts. If I go to a smaller time frame, it obviously adjusts things accordingly. Go up the time frames, there we go. So all nice and simple right the way through. So that's setting the charts up there. One final thing, I say final thing here, but a very important thing here, I've covered these buttons up here. You can, if you wish, switch back to looking at charts. If you've got a massive screen, it may be that you want to have all the charts floating in here. You can float them out or just have the view of the chart itself. The other tools that are on here, let me just come back to a chart. Let's just come back to this chart here. You see how it's nicely over to the left here a little bit. You can adjust this. This is how it often comes as a standard when you the price right close to the scaling. Now I just like it stepped back a bit because it allows me to look at what might come and predict. You've got a bit of space here to look at. The other thing is it's got another button here, scroll the chart. Now if I take that off, it allows me to go back and back test, and it won't just flick backwards. If I just want to go straight back to the front there, the current time, there you go, just click it on, and when it's clicked on, if you pull it back, it automatically flicks back. Can be rather annoying when you're trying to look at something, so just remember to switch it off if you're going to do any back testing. Very useful couple of buttons there though. That's basically it. As I said, you can change the views. You can do this by toggling the F11 button, I believe it is. Control, he says, looking briefly for my F11 button, or just pressing the F11 button all on its own. There we go, F11, and it just takes it into a chart and bring it back. So you can look at your chart nice and cleanly. It's a nice way of looking at your charts and be able to switch backwards and forwards, and this to me makes so much easier to look at, and I can switch through all my charts still here. I'm not looking at anything beyond the charts themselves. You don't want to get all tied up a lot of the time with everything else that sort of